Welcome. I'm going to talk today about how to get kids to help around the house. And I'm talking about how to create heartfelt responsibility. That's what I call it, heartfelt responsibility. Kids who would even jump off of the couch to do things to help because they know it's important and they feel proud for the things that they do and they know it's important. And if your kids do chores because they're afraid mom is going to yell at them or they're afraid they're going to lose screen time, that is not heartfelt responsibility. That's doing things based on fear. I'm Dr. Ellen, and I'm going to really talk a lot today about how to create that heartfelt responsibility that can create motivated kids, not kids who act based on fear. And that's not really motivation. That's really taking directions. And we don't want kids to have to continue to take directions because that's why it continues to be a struggle. We never get kids who are doing things that they should do because they're always waiting to hear from mom or dad what they should do or what they should have done, what they didn't do. And that's really not a good long-term solution. And if we want to create kids who are responsible when they grow up and ready when they go away to college or they take a first job and have a sense of responsibility, know what has to be done and take pride in doing what has to be done, then it's really time to change that struggle. And I'm here to help you change from that struggle, that fear-based system, to a system of building internal motivation and that heartfelt responsibility that I'm talking about. So if your kids complain and whine and protest about doing their chores, then they don't have heartfelt responsibility about doing their chores. And I'm going to talk again about some common procedures that parents often use. Parents often use chore charts, where when kids do something, they get a check mark or they get a gold star for doing something. And those aren't bad, but I do want to point out that if you rely on those totally, then what kids are motivated for is to get the gold star or to prevent mom from yelling at them. They're not really motivated to do the tasks that they have to do. I'm going to say that again because that's a really important difference. If you have a chart where the kids look forward to the check or the gold star, or they're afraid they have to do something because they're afraid they'll lose screen time, then they're not really loving doing their task or helping out. They're motivated to get the gold star. They're motivated to get mom's approval. And so both of those are external motivation. And the problem with external motivation is they die out really quickly and they're not strong. They're not powerful motivators. So kids will sit back and they'll wait till mom yells at them to do their activities. And they'll do the bare minimum that they have to do because we're all lazy and we do the least very often. They'll do the bare minimum they have to do to get the gold star or to make sure that mom's not going to be yelling at them today. They're not motivated to do a good job at what they're doing and to be proud of their job. That's what we want to create. And again, taking away screen time, that's a fear-based model where kids are they're motivated by fear, but they're not really motivated when there's fear. They're directed by fear. There's another parenting group that recommends using consequences to get kids to do chores, and that kids need to learn that they have a choice. They could either do their chores or they have consequences. And that really makes me so sad because that is such a fear-based system. And it doesn't build kids who are going to jump and be motivated and say, what can I do? How can I help? And kids who are proud of what they're doing. That really cultivates the constant struggle of kids trying to figure out how little they can get away with, and kids whining, why do I have to do this? And I help mothers that I work with and parents get away from that system so that kids are active participants in the family and that they have a sense of caring. They want to help out. They understand it's important. They know they're part of a team in their family. So I'm going to give you a few steps of how you can do that. And the first is to create a family culture of heartfelt responsibility. And a good way of doing that, you can do that in discussions at family meetings. I posted a video recently about family meetings. And if this is of interest to you, you might want to watch that video because I'm not going to repeat the whole thing here. The only thing that I'll say is in a family meeting, you really cultivate that feeling of the family as a team. And, you may even say Team Smith or Team Jones, and you talk about all the things that we need to do as a family, all the things that have to get done. And for example, I like to give this example. If you talk about all the things that get done around the home daily. So we all get up in the morning, everybody has to have breakfast. Everybody has to have a plan for lunch, either if everybody's at home or if kids are going to school, if we're going to work, maybe we take lunch with us. And then we get home, the table has to get set, dinner gets cooked, the dirty dishes get cleared off of the table. We have to have laundry done around the house gets cleaned. And if mom is the one who does everything, then mom is going to be exhausted. And mom isn't going to have energy to focus on her needs, her priorities, her self-care, her work. And if this is part of a discussion, a family discussion about all the things that get done around the house and that mom can't do them all, we need to all take our share and contribute into our teamwork as a family. That's one example of creating that family culture of teamwork and being a role model of what it means to have internal motivation and heartfelt responsibility. That mom does all these things for the family because she loves everybody and she wants us all to have a safe, secure, functioning house and household, and that we can all contribute to that. The second suggestion is it's never too young to start that family culture of cultivating that internal responsibility. And I talk about even kids who aren't even verbal yet. If they're changing their clothes at night into pajamas or changing out of their pajamas in the morning into clothing, if they can take their dirty clothing and put it into the laundry basket, that can be an early lesson on how they're contributing and helping to what gets done around the house. And maybe they'll get a hooray for Sally for helping to put her clothing in the laundry basket, and she can start to take pride in the job that she's doing. So that's an early example. I also want to point out, if you have teenagers, it's never too late to develop that family culture. So, and let's continue. I'm going to continue talking about some other ideas, but another is to make your kids understand that they can be part of a solution for an issue or a problem. So if you're going to talk about how maybe the family morning routine is so stressful, we're all in a rush, and we discuss with the children, what can we do to make the morning routine less stressful and more orderly? And we can discuss what are possible solutions. Well, one, maybe we can all lay out our clothes the night before. We should make sure our book bags and our bags are all packed the night before so that we're not running around in the morning suddenly looking for things. And any notes that need to be signed or written are done the night before. So again, we're not having a stressful morning because we've planned the night before. Imagine discussing that with your child, and your child can be on board. They can understand why it's important, as opposed to yelling at your child and saying, Johnny, go lay out your clothes tonight. Go pack your book bag. I don't want you to have a rush in the morning. You see the difference in that? One way, you're explaining, you're having your child learn and understand the task, as opposed to yelling at them and directing for the task. And there's a psychiatrist, a child psychiatrist, who talks about when children are used to mom-directed or parent-directed systems, they're used to having a boss or used to being told what needs to be done, because that's the way they grow up. And what happens when they're a teenager and they're in a system and mom and dad are no longer there telling people what to do, but there are kids who push peer pressure telling kids what to do. If you have a child who's learned responsibility and learned to make decisions, they're much more empowered in a system like that than a child who has to learn responsibility by continually being directed at what needs to be done and continually motivated by gold stars, which really are bribes. If your child is motivated by a gold star or by mom not yelling at them, then that's external motivation. They're really not learning responsibility on their own. They're learning direction. They're learning to respond to what they're told. And again, we want to develop kids who have internal responsibility so they can grow up into older kids and teenagers and adults who have internal responsibility, and who, if they go off to college, they have responsibility and they know what to do. Or if they get their first job, they know what to do, not only for themselves, but they have a sense of responsibility for the community and a sense of caring and a sense of pride for what they can do to contribute. So again, making them part of the solution is helpful. If kids understand the morning routine is stressful, and if they buy in and know what they can do. As another example, if we're having trouble finding our books or our toys, if we have a conversation, what can we do to make this household easier to function so that we're not tripping over things, and books and games and videos aren't lost? And the kids can buy in and say, you know what, we need to clean up every day. We need to put our things away. And that way we'll be able to find them again next time. And that's really helpful. Again, we're building that sense of responsibility in our kids. We're not making them respond to a parent-directed system or a fear-directed system. There's another parenting group that puts videos up, and they recommend having kids doing chores by consequences, that kids have to learn if they don't do their chores, there are going to be consequences. So they may lose screen time or other consequences. And that makes me so sad, because it's all based consequences is really a variation of punishment. And it doesn't build pride. It doesn't build excitement. You'll never get a child who jumps off the couch who is excited about an idea that they come up with to help out, because they're used to having external factors that trigger them and that are their barometers for what they need to do. And when kids do chores based on fear, they'll usually do the bare minimum they need to do to get credit for the activity. We're all lazy as humans. And if we don't have the right motivation, we'll do the minimum we need to get done, as opposed to helping out and want to help out to the maximum and to be happy and pleasant about it. So Again, these are really important steps, and we don't want it to be a struggle for our kids. If it's a continual struggle, that means your system is not powerful in getting your kids to be on board, to getting them to be motivated internally to want to do things. And it's going to continue to be a struggle. But learning how to do this system is really helpful. And I'm giving you some general suggestions today. A lot of parents contact me, and I can help you come up with specific recommendations based on your child's ages and their developmental stages. So if that's a topic that you'd like to talk about more, I'm happy to do that. I'll try to put my calendar in the comments section, or you can always email me at ellenwillhelp@gmail.com. So I wanted to give you an example of one time when my daughter was younger and she went to a friend's house for dinner, and the mother called me afterwards. And she said, after dinner, my daughter said to her, "How can I help you? Would you like me to help clear the dishes off of the table?" And her mother called me and said, "I was really impressed that Lori did that. That's my daughter." And she said, "How did you get her to do that?" And so I discussed with her the concept that I use of heartfelt responsibility and internal motivation. And I said my daughter was trying to be helpful. She was grateful that she was a guest in your home. And that's what I taught her. That's how I taught her to be. And I thought about it. And what did it really cost my daughter to say, "How can I help you? And would you like me to help clear the table?" Did it really cost her anything significant? She stood up and helped clear the table. Maybe she lost a couple of minutes of watching a video with her friend. It really didn't cost her anything. And she really felt a sense of helping out, of caring, of being a caring part of their family when they were generous and invited her over. And so I like to share this strategy because I think there are so many families out there that can benefit. And if you feel that you can benefit from this, I'm going to ask you to put a comment below so that other parents, when they come to the video, they'll know that this is helpful. I'm going to ask you to do a few things. One, if you can hit like if you find this helpful. And please feel free to share this with other parents who you feel might find this helpful. I really love getting this idea out, how it can help parents. And finally, if this is helpful, hit subscribe so that when I come out with other topics and other videos, you'll know and you can benefit. So next week, I'm going to come out with another topic, another video on another topic. If you have a topic that you'd like me to speak about, either put it in the chat below, or if you have a topic, it's even more helpful if you email me. So it's easy for me to email you back and let you know to watch if your topic will be on next week or the following week. Easy to reach me at email, ellenwillhelp@gmail.com. So again, this is a really important topic because I hear from so many parents that it's a continual struggle getting kids to do chores and to help out around the house. So I hope this was helpful. Again, next week, I'll be back with another topic and another video. So until then, be strong, be empowered, and let's talk again soon.